Are you planning to buy a home? Whether you're a first-time buyer or you just need a refresher, there are some key things you should know before making that big purchase. In today's video, I'll share the top 8 essential tips to help you navigate the home buying process. Make sure you stick around till the end because the last tip might just be the most important one. I'm Dawn, Realtor with Real Broker here in Calgary. I've been selling real estate since 2015, and if you're making a move, I would love to help you. You can book a call with me in the description below. Now, if you're getting any value from my videos, please give it a thumbs up and hit the subscribe so you don't miss the next one. Before you start house hunting, it is crucial to know how much you can afford. So number 1 on the list, and absolutely the first thing you need to do, is get a mortgage pre-approval. This gives you a clear picture of your budget because let me tell you, the worst thing you can do is start looking online at homes and then find out you qualify for less. The more expensive homes are always that for a reason, and that is not an adjustment you want to have to make. Better to know from the jump. As far as where to get a mortgage, you can talk to your bank, but I will always recommend a mortgage broker. They'll shop around for you to find you the best product and rate. I will also say that from my perspective, when we're working on a deal, and it's the 11th hour or the last couple days, condition date and time is quickly approaching, the broker will work until it's done and do everything they can. Whereas the bank closes at 5 and they're done then too, no calls after hours to ask questions. Some banks now have more mobile mortgage specialists though, which are definitely a step up from your typical bank employee. Regardless of where you choose to get your mortgage from, get pre-approved. It'll save you time and stress down the road. It could also be the difference between getting the house you want in a competitive market by being able to have a shorter financing condition period and not. It also never hurts to have the pre-approval letter ready to share with the sellers if needed. Number 2 on the list is consider all costs, not just the purchase price. The cost of a home goes beyond the listing price. Don't forget to factor in closing costs, property taxes now, depending on how the seller paid their taxes, monthly versus yearly. There could be a decent prorated payment owing, so it's important to have your realtor ask how the seller's paid or have your lawyer ask other costs, home insurance, utilities, potential maintenance and or renovation costs. Things can add up pretty quickly. It's helpful to create a detailed budget that includes these additional expenses to avoid any surprises. Number 3 is know your market. I can't stress this enough. Real estate markets can vary significantly depending on the location. Some markets are hot with bidding wars and quick sales, while others might be slower paced. Here in Calgary for a few years now, it's been very hot and you need to move fairly quickly to view homes to even have a chance at offering. This is so important to know from the beginning because you need to plan accordingly to be able to view homes on short notice, but prepare yourselves mentally that when you find a place, you may not have a lot of time to think it over. Now, I will always say you take all the time you need. This is oftentimes the largest purchase of your life, so you need to be sure before pulling the trigger, but you'll know the risks of waiting too long. That's up to you to determine if it's worth it. Knowing the market can also help prepare you in terms of offering price. Are more homes in the area selling for overlist or not? Are you in a market where finding that deal is offering underlist is totally possible? Your realtor should be able to give you detailed market stats for the areas in which you're looking or the city as a whole. When you find a property you like, ask your realtor for a full comparative market analysis so you can see all the recent sales. And on that note, number 4 is find a reputable real estate advisor. Now, notice I say advisor. Here in Alberta, as realtors, we are fiduciaries, which means someone who manages money or property for someone else. When you're named a fiduciary and accept the role, you must, by law, manage the person's money and property for their benefit, not yours. There are bad apples in every bunch, sure. But you want to work with someone that has your best interest at heart. You should never feel like you're being sold to. If it takes you months or 5 years to find a home, that's up to you, not the advisor you work with. We work at your pace, and this process should feel like that to you. A good real estate advisor can be your best ally in the home buying process. They'll help you find homes that fit your criteria, negotiate the best price, and navigate any challenges along the way. Choose an advisor with strong local knowledge and a track record of successful transactions. If you're in Calgary and looking for help, you can book a call with me in the link below, and we can determine if we're a good fit. If you're looking for an agent elsewhere in Canada, please also feel free to reach out. I have an expansive network and I am happy to connect you with other reputable advisors. Number 5, you've got your pre-approval, your budget, and know the market, and you've got an agent. You're off to the races, but remember to prioritize needs over wants. It's easy to get caught up in the dream of the perfect home, but it's important to distinguish between what you need and what you want. Prioritizing your needs like location, number of bedrooms, or proximity to work will help you make a more practical decision. I always tell my clients to focus on the things that can't change. For example, you can never make your backyard bigger or move your house, well, for the most part. The last thing you want is having to move earlier than expected because moving is expensive. Ideally, the goal is to live in the home for as long as possible. So, you found the house. Number 6, don't skip the inspection. With that being said, let me start. There is a few reasons why you actually might be able to do so. Let's go over those to get them out of the way first. If you're buying a home to completely take the home down to the studs, it's a super competitive market and you're very familiar with home construction, that could be one reason you feel comfortable bypassing it. Or if you like to burn money and take major risks, that's totally up to you. For the most part, I will never recommend buying a home without an inspection. A home inspection is a crucial step in the buying process. It helps identify any potential issues with the property that could end up costing you a lot down the road. At the inspection, we are looking for major deficiencies and deferred maintenance. The sellers do need to disclose any material latent defects that they're aware of. A material latent defect is a physical defect that is not discernible through a reasonable inspection and makes a property dangerous or potentially dangerous to occupants, unfit to live in, or unfit for a buyer's purpose, should that purpose be known to the sellers or by the industry professional. Material latent defects may also include defects that would be very expensive to repair. When a seller has received a notice from a local government or authority that something about the property must be fixed, or when the seller does not have the appropriate building or other permits for the property. When you compare the cost of a home inspection and the total cost of your investment in a home, it's crazy to not have one done when you're buying. Even if you're buying a new home, I'll tell you a story. We bought a new build and it didn't have an inspection. This was pre-licensed in real estate days. And we started to notice that there was this spot at our front door that was wet and frosty looking inside the house in the winter. The builder came and fixed the drywall, but didn't fix the actual issue. In retrospect, it's crazy that we let that happen, but needless to say, it happened again, and that's when we knew something was really wrong and needed to be addressed. The builder came out with their thermal camera and found there was an insulation piece missing at the front corner of the house. Now, an inspector with their thermal camera would have spotted that right away and saved us a lot of trouble. Even if the market is hot and you wouldn't get the house without the inspection, that might be a blessing in disguise. Do your due diligence, get the inspection. And speaking of, number 7 is be prepared for competition. I know this sounds familiar as I've mentioned competition a few times now, but I mean in terms of budget. In many areas, housing inventory is low and demand is high. This can lead to bidding wars and homes selling above the asking price. It's important to stay calm and be prepared for this competition. I see this all the time with buyers and my own children. My younger son starts playing with a toy that no one was previously playing with, but all of a sudden now my older son wants that toy. It's kind of the same. Sometimes you see other people interested in a house and it amps up your interest, or you get caught up in bidding wars to win. Sometimes people pay more than market value for a home because they love it. Unless this home is one of a kind, I wouldn't typically recommend that. Set a maximum budget and stick to it to avoid overextending yourself in a bidding war. No one wants to be house broke, and if interest rates go up, you could find yourself in a tough spot years down the road. So rein it in, okay? Number 8, the one we've all been waiting for and quite possibly the most important. Buying a home is one of the biggest decisions you'll ever make. It's easy to feel pressured, but remember, this is a long-term commitment. It's better to wait for the right home than to rush into something that isn't a good fit. Stay patient, stay informed, and don't be afraid to walk away if a deal doesn't feel right. If you're considering a move, or maybe you just like to stay informed, you can find the latest stats package from the Calgary Real Estate Board linked below, where you'll also find my buyers and sellers guides. If you have any questions about buying or selling, you can book a call with me in the link below. I would love to hear from you, and I'll see you soon.